All right. Going in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. What's up? What's up? What's up? Yours truly, Lucky Luciano, aka Tech Matrix Sounds, back at it again. Taping right now the next edition of Wellz and L here. Right now from the studios here in Power 108.9 in Atlanta, and somewhere with the GPS signal driving in Georgia is Jozey Wellz on the line. What up, though?
I'm good, man. Out here, man, making it happen.
Why
Doing
can't
what
you
I
stay in
do.
one place at one time? Like, what's going on? I'm not
Enough,
mad, but
enough that,
you
man.
were supposed to come to the lab today, and you know what I mean. It's. I'm not mad, but I'm
Yeah,
saying like you know that it's only so much you can do
yeah,
being on the
man.
phone.
When
You
you
got to
gotta
be in
get,
the lab.
gotta get that dough. You gotta go. You know what I mean?
I
Gotta
feel you.
go.
I feel you. I feel you. All right.
What
Okay.
up, though?
Nothing much, man. It's been good. Been a real busy week for me. Sure, it's been a busy week for y'all. But a lot of we got a heavy show today, man. A lot of stuff went down since we talked last week, or the last episode, I should say, which we taped last week. But a lot of stuff went down. First of all, I gotta shout out all the folks who have been, showing us love and saying, "Yo, when y'all come back on the air, y'all just kicked in the door, whatever, Biggie style." Now we've been here. We just been working behind the scenes or whatever. But yep, we're back on the mics here. Wellz is on the other side of the mic. I'm on here too. Yours truly, Lucky Luciano, aka 10 Extra Sounds. Jozey Wellz ATL on Twitter is on the other line too. We're gonna get into it. So real quick, just to connect from last week, we talked about basically the whole premise was to say, hey man, we're here. This is what we're doing. We're doing this pod because we know how to do it. We're just gonna do it and to see what happens. And everybody's been responding. It's like, yo, where y'all been at? What's going on? We got a mailbag of stuff to go to today. We got some interesting comments where I'm pretty sure you would want to address directly, Wellz, as well as some feedback of what's been going on. But definitely want to get into that section and definitely want to salute all the folks who have been downloading the podcast. And if you guys not aware and just the first time you're listening, thank you for listening to the Wellz and L. You can find us on all platforms that you can find podcasts with, which is Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and now even Alexa. So you got a smart speaker at the crib to say, yo, Alexa, play Raw Radio EXP podcast, and bloop, the joint pops up. And now you got the joint on the go, and even with your speakers or whatever. So make sure you subscribe to that and all that stuff. But listen, real quick, I want to take into account a couple of things that what did I want to say? Some elements we covered from last week to bridge to what we talked about this week. So we talked about a lot of the elements, and as of last week, we knew what was kind of going on with the political issues, well, not issues, but the election here in the States and what the impact was, and people had their outputs and their reactions to what's going on currently. So as of this taping right now, Biden is the president-elect, but there's been challenges in other states, right here in Georgia as well. So one of the couple of the comments that we had, I'm sure we're going to talk about that later in the show, Wellz, where one of the listeners wanted to ask something specifically about that and want to get our feedback about that. So we're going to get into that. But first things first, what I want to do is I need to loop in you and give a taste of what's happening with the format of the show. What we're going to do for this recording. So first of all, what we're going to do is highlight what's going on, which we just did. Then we're going to highlight Super Series, in which we're going to give you the most recent listens that's coming out as of this taping, which we're taping today right now, Friday, November the 13th. And other elements that's embodying elements of Raw Radio, what you guys know and love through the stream. And one of the key elements that's going to be a good topic of discussion later with myself and Wellz is verses. And he's making the announcement that he's going to do an impromptu verses that we might just package with this show. And he's saying this is going to be the last one. So what you want to say about that, Wellz? What's going on with that?
Grand opening, grand closing.
Well, I had a feeling you were going to say that. I swear to God, I was saying myself, this dude's going to say grand opening, grand closing when I ask him about this. I swear.
Because, man, this is hip-hop, man. And from back then, you had to have style. You had to be original.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And nowadays, it's different. It's like, nowadays, it's cool, you know what I'm saying, to jock somebody. And then not only jock somebody, but to take their whole style. You know what I'm saying?
So wait, hold on. You so wait. So make sure I'm clear what you're saying. You're saying that it's clear. It's nowadays it's cool to jock another style. That's what you're saying.
oh yeah, yeah. And that's, you know, if that's what you do, that's what you do. But the cats that always stand the test of time, they come up with original concepts and original things to keep themselves relevant. They don't go run to the fire. Nah, they go create their own. They own, you know what I'm saying? Their own little thing over there. They don't
So
do it. You can get consumed by the flames once it overtake you. Yo, you don't need all that smoke.
okay,
Yo,
okay,
make the lane and do your thing, and then people will gravitate towards you.
okay. So you know what? Let me put a push pin to that. So let's go back to that real quick because I want to highlight some other stuff. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna jump into that right now, and then we're gonna get into some other segments we're gonna talk about. We got a new segment called NNS. We get into what that is in a second, and then we're gonna tie in current events, and we also gonna do a say word. We haven't done that in a while. If for those listeners that know what that say word is, you know what's popping about it. We just go in the Q&A and say, "Yo, say word." This joint this word and say word, right? Say word. Say word. So this is what we're doing. We bring that say word in, and then we're going to get into the mailbag and then tie in what it sounds like the last episode of the Versus or the Raw Radio version of Versus. So speak with Klaus. Tell you what you were saying earlier about that. What's going on with that? So what you're saying is you want to do this Versus because all right, people are jocking the style, and you don't want to. We're not doing this anymore. So you're just like F it. You're just going to walk away from this. That's what you're saying.
It's the thing. Like, yo, it's cool. Yo, go ahead and do that. But for me, it ceases to be as dope as it was when nobody else is doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
of course.
It's like, check it out. You go out and you find the killest pair of Pumas. You know what I'm saying? You find some cream Pumas with the baby blue stripe, and you're like, yo, ain't nobody got these.
Yeah.
And you rock them, and the people be like, yo, that's kind of cool. And then somebody go out, and they go ahead and get some cream Pumas with a green stripe, and another cat gets some cream Pumas with a red stripe.
Yeah.
And, you know, for long, it's all cream. You're like,
yeah.
I don't really even want to. Y'all look dope doing it. Oh, no doubt. But I'm not gonna wear mine. I'm gonna get some true Iceland or something.
Okay.
You know, that's how I feel about it. Like, yo, I ain't dissing nobody. Do your thing, but yo, we did that. Like, that was 2009, 2010. We did that. So it's time to move on, man. So grand opening, grand closing, and then we have a great versus for you this evening. You know what I'm saying? So I can't wait to get into it.
So what's the versus going to be? If you're saying that this is a grand open, grand closing, you might as well tell us what the versus is. You might as well tell us.
I'm setting them up with the tease. But, yo, versus today, you know how people talk about Wu Tang, this super group?
Yeah.
And I love Wu Tang.
Yeah.
I love Wu Tang.
Yeah.
But we live in a now society.
Mm-hmm.
Now. Everything is now. Yo, it's this Asian comedian on Netflix. You got to check him out. My girl put me on, so.
Okay.
Now.
Okay.
Everything's now.
Okay.
Anyway. But anyway, Wu-Tang was not the first super group of MCs. They were not. That title and distinction goes to Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. And to this day, Grandmaster Melly Mel is one of the best to have ever done it. That brother spoke prophecy. So, and all of them MCs, from Cowboy, Scorpio, Kid Creole, my man Raheem, the Ladies Dream,
so
all of them, man. I thought I left out one.
So wait. Let me make sure I understand what you're saying. Are you saying that the versus is Wu-Tang versus the Furious Five? That's what you're saying?
Yeah. Wu-Tang versus the Furious Five. And the thing is, with versus,
man,
the intent isn't to crush. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, Wellz. I don't
But it's
know.
not to rush an opposing faction because check it out. Wu Tang is ill, but aside from Ghost, Ray first one, Meth first one, and Dirty was just crazy. You know what I'm saying?
But wait. But what's the?
Well,
I don't know what the argument
what,
is. What are you saying that just those are the only like elements of Wu that's relevant to this battle per se? So you telling me if it goes 20-20 on each
no.
side, then it's Graham. So who would win? So who's gonna win it? If we play the records at the end, which we're gonna do, right?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. That's why you got to get into the catalog. And then if this was a true versus right here, we would be talking. We'd be like, all right, let's get into the catalog, and then we're gonna play the message.
Okay.
And then we're gonna play probably Wu Tang. We're gonna play Triumph, and then we'll play another. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know, we'll go back and forth, and that opens up the dialogue without somebody just jumping out on the deep end saying, "Ah, you crazy." Shut up.
No.
Because I get tired of hearing saying, hey, "Yo, they were the first supergroup of rap." That's a lie, because Raheem and them, they was overseas when nobody else was overseas.
I agree with
That's
you
what
on
I'm
that.
saying.
I do agree with you on that.
You know, they was in
I'll give you that.
Europe and Germany. You know what I'm saying? So,
But hold on.
Go ahead.
No. So no. You know what? Finish your statement. I'll come back to what I was saying. Go ahead. Finish.
So they set the blueprint for Wu Tang. You know what I'm saying? Because they got Raheem, like they just didn't start as a group. Raheem from the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
Raheem was in another crew and was battling. He told me he was battling Grandmaster Flash and them. He was battling Melly and them. Now he said, yo, he was destroying them, and they were like, yo. After the show, he was like, yo, we need you, son. We need you. He was like the fifth member added. You know what I'm saying? So my point is, all them MCs Melly Mel can stand alone. Scorpio can stand alone. Raheem can stand alone. But back then, they didn't have enough to do it the way Wu did it. Music had advanced so much since the time that
Okay.
Rich was like, yo, I'm gonna get a deal for every last one of y'all on a different label.
Yeah, he did that, and that was that's a strategy in its own thing. But here's where I can't get fully on board with that, because this is echoing into the recent events of we talking verses about Busta Rhymes and T.I., right? So Busta called out T.I. and said, yo, let's battle. T.I. was like, nah, respectfully declined, because the argument was about a generational gap, right? Which I totally understand and agree, because it's kind of like the fruit bowl analogy. You got a whole fruit bowls, you got apples and oranges, right? Can't really compare, although they're fruits, you can't compare an apple to an orange because they're two different fruits, right? This is the same situation to me with Wu and what you're saying with Flash and the Furious 5. Now, absolutely, what you're saying is correct, that with Flash and them, they didn't have that much they didn't have that traction from what Wu had at that time because of a whole bunch of advancements and stuff. But however, you're still going back to the generational divide, and which is why I argue that might not be a good versus, because it's so more of an influence between Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 influencing Wu instead of battling.
No, but see, here's the thing. The way people are doing verses now, that's not the way we did our verses.
I get that.
Say for instance, we like, all right, say on verses, we got serious groups.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people like to say that Wu Tang is the first super group. Saying it's the first super group.
Wait, say it again. You were breaking up on your line. Say it one more time.
And then I'll be like, Wu Tang Clan is not the first super group of MCs.
Mm-hmm.
That title would go to Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5.
Yeah.
Somebody out there listening right now or thinking right now, if they know music, they'll be like, Cold Crush.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with you, but the reason why I'm bringing up, the reason why I'm saying it should be more of an influence and not a versus is because if you're saying versus within hip hop, it's a battle. You're battling catalogs. You're battling it's a battle arena. So what I'm saying is, they really shouldn't be battling each other. It's more so of a compliment. I mean, if you're gonna have some ground rules, I mean, per se, it is what it is. Now, to your point, I'm not saying I don't disagree with, because what you're actually saying is correct. Because Flash and the Furious Five is the first super group of MCs, no doubt about that. But to compare catalogs like that might be a little unfair, in my opinion. That's just me. That's just me.
But no, that's I feel you. But that's the genius in the show, to unpack that catalog. Because I'm gonna tell you, the greatest verse from Wu Tang on any of their records is probably the Rebel INS rhyme. It's probably Rebel INS, or it might be something Ghost said. Ghost is ill. Oh, Ghost is the illest out of them. But Rebel INS on Atomic Tom, please.
You talking about on Wu Tang Triumph? On Triumph, you saying?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Now.
Nah, I don't know if that's fully. I don't know if I'm all fully on board with that. But go ahead, continue. I'll let you live. I'll let you live. I'll let you live.
I'm gonna say, if we were to sit back and listen, all the verses, all the rhymes from Wu Tang, Rebel INS, or Ghost probably got the first verse. I'm just gonna put pen on
between. Wait. Are you saying that you're telling me as an MC, you're saying that Rebel INS or Ghostface is the strongest MC out of that group?
No. I'm just saying. I ain't saying he's the best MC.
What are you saying?
I'm saying the illest verse. Like, you heard what he said. Like the illest verse on a particular song.
on any. Hold on. So wait. See, this is where you fall into a trap. Like, what do you mean by that? About from any Wu Tang release, or specifically Wu Tang Clan albums? Because I could give you a whole bunch of Ghost solos or Jizza solos that will probably have some bars on there too. Liquid Swords, Investigative Reports.
I mentioned too. If you were to sit down, that's a whole nother show with verses.
That is a whole nother show. That's a whole nother couple shows.
That's a Wu Tang versus where you sit down.
That's a Wu Tang. That's a Wu Tang Royal Rumble.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So, but what I'm saying is this: out of all them verses, out of all them rhymes that any Wu Tang member spit, and I ain't saying this to disrespect them or diss them, I love Wu, but then you go back and you start to analyze what Grandmaster Flash and them did, in particular Melly Mel. Melly Mel was like Rakim before Rakim, and he was, yo, Mel's rhymes, crazy. I sat, I was talking with Mo D, and that's another group. They just need like 2 more MCs. Treacherous 3 was crazy. I got a chance to like really listen to their catalog. Big up Double K. The Double K spin that shit like from back in the day.
Yep.
My ears be perking up like, these cats was nice.
Yep.
But
that's true. Shout Double K.
Mo D told me, and I think it's in his book, when there's a God on the mic or something like that. Yo, Melly Mel is his number 1 MC. And the message is like one of the, that song, period. Child born with no state of mind, blind to the ways
of mankind. Yeah, of course.
God is laughing at, God is smiling on you, but he's frowning too, because only God knows what he's doing.
Yep.
All of that stuff, man, that's crazy. So my point is, my whole joint is not for me to pick a winner. The winning is a byproduct. That's just like, there you won, here's a trophy. The real genius in the verses that we did was to sit back and analyze the lyrics, just to unpack them, to give people a new perspective, because you think you know something, and then when you sit back and you look at it, like when we did the show with Kim and Nikki, I was like Kim. And then I started listening to Nikki, I started listening to some stuff that she's like, and I'm like, yo, so he's nice. So I tended to appreciate her mastery of the English language a little more than without them going hand to hand with each other.
Wait, for clarity. Wait, hold on. So you're talking about who exactly? Because you were breaking up. Just make sure I'm clear.
Oh, we did the Kim and Nikki show.
Okay. All right. Okay.
We did Kim and Nikki.
Okay.
So, again, my point is not to crown over. It's more so to promote dialogue with regards to, because we listen to and we're some artists. But for the bands that say, when they do a poll, yo, I'm Wu Tang forever, but I kind of agree. These dudes were the first group. I didn't know that Raheem was nice like that. I didn't know Cowboy was the party rocker. Cowboy's like a method man back in the day.
Okay, yeah, okay. So that's what I'm saying. It's more of an awareness thing, right? Is it a form of awareness? But again, you talking about impact that they had at that time in comparison to Wu now. I can't relate to that. I mean, I was a baby at that time, but the impact will be different, right? You're talking about two different sets of demographics. So that's why I'm on the boat saying that it's cool to compare the catalogs, but it's more so of an influence thing. That's just similar to saying like I think I heard this I overheard this comment with Knots and Will on their podcast a couple days ago that you can't compare Tribe, like that's like having Tribe and Outkast do a versus, which may not even be fair because you got an alien. I'm sorry, you have a one that's technically feeding the other as far as influence is concerned, and then you what are you testing on the catalog body of work because it's subjective. So I don't know, but I'll tell you what though. You're gonna have to put those records up and put that at the last part of the verses, and then that's gonna be a topic of discussion as a follow up for next week though, or for the next show, next time we tape.
Real quick, that's just like saying if I did a versus on, if we had done a versus on the Above the Rim soundtrack, considered to be one of the most illest soundtracks ever, and the Juice soundtrack.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, but you know what? Those two can battle because those are in the same era, arguably.
True.
So I don't know, but so
to just analyze, go through some joints, to dust off some dust, to say, oh, damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then to talk that nostalgia.
Yep.
And then let the fans have a good dialogue and discussion about it. But
absolutely. That's the whole point. Is a celebration of the music. It's a celebration of the music at the end of the day. That's exactly what it is. Exactly. The celebration of music at the end of the day.
I saw what Busta had said to T.I. So I don't be on IG like that too much. And I was like, wow, Busta. Like Busta, you know already. Like, you go ahead and overstand that answer, man. But you know what I'm saying?
Oh wait. So what you saying? So hold on. So I should put that in the same words. So what you saying? Busta shouldn't have called out T.I. to battle? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, that's not a battle. Now, if you want to call out,
so now see what you just said. That school of thought is my thought process with what you're saying with Wu and Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5.
But see, that's the thing. The way they're doing verses now, it's not. That wasn't my intent for verses back then. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was more so to, they're super group. People saying they're the first super group. They're not the first super group. These guys were the first super group. You know what I'm saying? Now let's go into the catalog.
Okay.
And see what it is.
Okay. Okay.
But there were instances where it was straight up like, same weight class, same age, same reach, you know what I'm saying? So it was
Right.
instances where we did like the Nas and Razzcast because they were similar,
Yep.
or it'd be an AC and Common. They're similar.
Yep.
You know.
I would love to see a Nas and Razzcast battle on Versus. That would be dope.
Yeah.
That would be dope. So look, so let's
I want to see that.
So at the what we're gonna do is we're gonna tag that at the end of the show and do an impromptu verse and say, yo, grand opening, grand closing, that's it. You gonna speak clout, and that's that. So before you know what, that's gonna be a great segue to get into the next topic of discussion, which is legends, right? So we talked about legends last week and the element of Legends Lounge. And actually, some folks have been talking about and asking about what Legends Lounge is in the mailbag. But you specifically want to point out Shan, who we've identified in the show before. But we have also put attention to argument that is Shan that much of a legendary MC? Now, of course, I disagree with that. But there's arguments to say why he's not because of his body of work, catalog, I should say. Now, we know that he is more so him, but what his influences and positions, right? Because he has specific records that highlighted him. Even when we did our Legends Lounge show, right? We highlighted specific things, as well as when we did the interview. We met this brother a couple times. I can't even remember, but we asked him about that already, and then I think he said something to you about the thought process of why the folks are not realizing that the bridge was really supposed to be just a response and not an anthem to what it is now, because that's what what happened. Excuse me. People took the bridge as an anthem for Queensbridge, right? That's what happened, and it turned into a rah-rah involvement and caused a response and turned into this battle between two sections. I argue, which I've on our record as saying before, is that is part of the blueprint that fed the elements of the East Coast West Coast thing that happened in the mid '90s, because you had two elements of types of sound in specific demographics and allegiance to types of MCs, right? So although they're legends in this same accolade, their recognition of why or why they're being recognized as a legendary MC is a little bit out of the cuff, because Shan is lyrical. We agree with that, right? I mean, Shan is not whack, of course. But what do you say? What's your response to where folks are not privy to his body of work or his catalog per se? Because everyone says, all right, I can name the bridge, symphony, and what else? My melody, and that's it. Tell me, am I missing any more of that three? Please feel free to add if you got more.
Well, you really can't. But that album and what Shan stood for as an MC icon. LL grabbed his entire style from Shan, Pumas and the Kango and all that stuff. Shan was on the cutting edge. Did
he bite him? Hold on. Did LL Cool J bite him, or did he influence him?
Yeah, he bit him. No, he bit him. Nah. This is coming out of MC Shan's mouth.
That's coming out of MC Shan's mouth. I don't think he bit. I don't think Jay bit him. Because he took some of the, because you can't say that same thing, because when with LL Cool J's first record with I'm Bad and all that stuff, that wasn't in the lane with MC Shan. Was not. It was not.
I'm saying, like,
it was not.
Maybe not in so much of his style. I mean, like, as far as on records, but his persona, like the way Shan carried himself. People forget how cool Shan was back then. Shan was like,
I'm not doubting that, but I'm not doubting that. But that was definitely not that. The level of suaveness in comparison to him and LL Cool J is not the same, because of what LL Cool J had behind him from a marketing standpoint. There's a direct association between LL, right, and women who quickly identify who LL Cool J is in comparison to MC Shan. True or false? You could agree with that statement.
Back then, was that too, like that too.
I'm not doubting that. But what I'm saying is the impact. I'm talking about the impact. The impact. And that's what I'm saying. I believe it's more of an influence. I don't think Cool J bit Shan like that. Now,
I'm going by the man told me.
What did he tell you? Are you going back to the interview that you did with him? Mm-hmm. What did he say?
Well, basically the gist of it is this, you know. When Cool J came on the scene, started working with Marley Marl, Shan said I was dead, and he said, you know, dude started, you know, grabbing my style, the way I dress with the Kangos and all of this. He started like putting my style into his stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it came so much one time, the song that Shan had did with Marley, LL had liked the beat and did the same song. And Shan came back and did the joint beat biter.
I remember that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, he did.
So all I'm saying is that I wasn't around it, but this is what this man told me. But
yeah, I'm with you on that. But again, that's only one side of the coin. That's only one side of the coin, though.
So yeah, but until I speak with LL might laugh, and he'll probably disagree, you know, normally. But
LL will probably like pink cookies in a plastic bag crushed by buildings, and that's what he's gonna respond to.
To your point, he's kind of an icon. Like he's one of them dudes. Like when the legends talk, he's your favorite MC type of cat. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
For instance, it's this dude in Brooklyn. I don't know his name. DJ Double K plays his records all the time. He'll say, "Oh, this was Biggie's favorite MC." Right? And when you hear the cadence, you're gonna be like, "Yo, yeah, I gotta." When we get to the show, I'm gonna get Duke for you. When you hear his cadence and how he rhymes,
mm-hmm.
back and listen.
You saying he's comparing? You mean the comparisons to him and Biggie? That's what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's the jazz thing earlier.
Oh, all right.
It's that thing. So that's why MC Shan, MC Shan. Without MC Shan, it's quite possible you may not have a Chris Parker. Because they did.
Don't say that.
Yo,
no.
No, not in a negative light. Not in a negative light. But it made it more accessible for Chris to come on the scene.
Nah, I'll say I would if you say that was the best opportunity for Chris to come on the scene. I will give you that.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, because you're wording it. What I'm hearing is my interpretation is that this is the time to where KRS strategically said, "All right, I'm gonna kick in the door right now, and I'm just gonna drop blank because of whatever." Because Chris BDP had traction prior to that beef too, anyway. So,
but listen, they were trying to get on. Mr. Magic wasn't playing them. And
who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Who didn't?
BDP, Mr. Magic wasn't playing them.
Okay.
They wasn't playing them. And so they were like, yo, listen, all right.
Yeah, he did say
fuck
that.
Mr. Magic, fuck this MC Shan, Marley Marl shit. Yo, and they went back and they got hung. That's what I'm saying. Without them, it allowed Chris to focus and get what they needed to get to do the break over. You know.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is that was the catalyst to get to the bridges over. That's what you're saying? I'm just gonna do a diss record and call that it.
Yeah, and that helped. Because that was a big record. That was
okay,
one of the biggest
I'll give you that.
of the year.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
That's what put Shan in the stratosphere. He was cool, driving Audis. He was Juice Crew. LL was jocking him. Chris dissed him. So it just made MC Shan that persona. Like, you know, I'm all the way down in Georgia, and I knew about MC Shan. Like, MC Shan, you know, like, that's a cool dude.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah.
You know, that's all I'm saying. And unfortunately, when he went to did that second album, it wasn't as strong. It didn't have a lot of the Marley Marl production on it.
No.
But unfortunately,
sophomore slump personified.
It's almost like the same thing with Special Ed. Special Ed had them 2 albums, and then and Special Ed was Ghost. I love Special Ed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that too.
But,
I put Special Ed as one of my top MCs of all time, and I agree with that statement because you're absolutely right. After his second joint Legal, it was like, what happened? And that was it. I mean, he popped up, he dropped the joint Legal, which has some records on it, but it was not as impactful as his first two. So I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the catalyst is there, but what I'm challenging is the catalog, because that is the matrix of what is being measured right now. So the comparison to how Versus was done on Raw Radio, you were celebrating the bodies of work, right? And doing a comparing and contrasting, just like you mentioned in the Nicki Minaj and Lil Kim analogy earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. So now where we at with these Versus things now, I mean, I personally don't have that big of an issue with it. I mean, to me, it's a bodying of the culture to where two folks are battling with their catalog through a celebration of music. And if you think through a battle, just goes two turntables and a mic, old school, that was what it was too. Because even it was that the folks that were battling before, back in the day, they would perform their records prior to the battle, right? They'll go in there, they'll do their joint, they do their set, other group does their set, and then they duke it out in the battle. It's kind of like a warm up to a heavyweight bout, right? So it's in essence, it's the same type of deal. What I'm saying is that there should be more focus on the catalog and the celebration of music within that process. That's all I'm saying.
But hold on one second. I gotta catch this. I hate doing this. Hold on one second, B. Hold on.
Wait. He put us on hold. Get out of here. All right. So for those of you guys who are watching the video, he put us on hold, B. Like, we're taping right now. We're doing an episode here in the studio. And he said, yo, I got to put this on hold. This is the reason why you got to be in the studio, B. Like, my phone is off. I'm focused right now. I'm dialed in. I'm giving the people what they want. And this guy, first of all, I'm dealing with him eating McDonald's in the background. I'm not going to say anything about that. But, it's the element of professionalism, man. It's just, yeah. Real quick, for those who are shoot, I shouldn't even say that. Hold on, I got you. Thank you guys that are tuning in right now. Yours truly, like Luciano, aka Tech Matrix Sounds. This is how Raw Radio be sometimes, man. We be doing it on the cuff and just taping and get the stuff out. And things like this happen. This happened to me too. We got to take a pause, but we're gonna keep it moving.
My apologies, man. This is live and organic, and this is what makes us us.
Yeah. Yeah.
But go ahead though, man.
So
with Shan, go ahead.
No, I want to wrap this up before we get into the next part of the show.
Okay.
I'm not sure where we at. No, but go ahead, finish. What you were saying?
Yeah, with Shan though, his style, his voice, the rhymes were dope. His influence on hip hop at the time, hip hop was just bubbling. It didn't even explode yet. Mm-hmm. And he was a part of, hey, how you doing? He was a part of so many influential groups. Like not groups, but the Juice Crew in general.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's part of the influence too, and that's why it's the element of the element of subjectivity is part of the beauty of the whole concept, right? It's opinionized, right? Because we could go, we could do a versus a Raw Radio versus podcast for a whole bunch of crap and just go duke it out and see what happens. But to your point, but
no doubt.
to what you're saying earlier, for those who are listening right now, that impromptu versus, they're going to be the grand closing. Raw Radio Style is probably going to be at the tail end of this show, so make sure you guys stay tuned at the end. But Pete, let's go into a couple things I want to highlight before we get into the new segment. First of all, I want to take this time real quick just to give some FYIs of what's dropping as of this recording. And this might be a little bit of a say word joint too. So I don't know if you know, but I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna shout these folks out. So usually, of course, we highlight when I do the shows. I highlight in the SS, Super Series Style, some new joints that are coming out and dropping that you need to cop, right, and check out. So last week I mentioned just so you guys up to speed, new Busta Rhymes, ELE2, a whole bunch of other stuff that dropped. New Griselda joints, a lot of good complimentary hip hop that has been dropped this year. Got to give it to those folks. Really consistent. But for this is some interesting record releases that dropped out this week, and I peeped a couple of the albums, and I wanted to get your reaction to see what you're gonna be thinking. So first release that dropped as of today of this recording, New K Slay, right? New K Slay homage, right? So anyone who knows K Slay, right? DJ K Slay out of Harlem. The dude's mixtapes, he has everybody and their mama in there. Now, out the gate, the first track is like literally 18 minutes long. Pause. Right? 18 minutes, and it has a gang of MCs on here just spitting for a track, the same beat, mind you, for 18 minutes. Now, that's a lot going on the intro track. But I wanted to highlight they had some feature lists. Is crazy, by the way. Ransom, Bun B, Sheik Luch, Conway the Machine, Jorah Ortiz, a whole bunch of other folks. Good collage of stuff like that. And it has that sweet street sweeper sound that if you guys are familiar with his mixtapes, the sound of the street sweepers has a street, like a specific sonic to it. It's a little raw, a little organic. Let it really have a mixtape feel to that. Pharaoh Monch, your man Pharaoh, who we argue is one of the greatest MCs of all time, is in that discussion. He dropped a new joint called Fight, which is a rap rock combo. So to be honest with you, this should be no surprise if you guys follow Pharaoh, because he's always added those elements of R&B, soul, rock in his previous records that he released, right? So this new release, Fight, and gospel too, absolutely. He has gospel too. So this recent release that he did, he's got Cypress Hill on there, Be Real and Muggs on the production. Interesting concept. It's a good listen, worth checking out. Also want to shout out new Peach instrumentals that are coming out soon. Single drop today as of this recording. For those beat heads who like those instrumentals, Pete Rock is coming out with a brand new set of instrumentals that are coming out, I believe, in a couple weeks' time. So that joint is released. And for you, Wellz, because I know you're a Camp Lo fan, I don't know if you heard the Pete Rock and Camp Lo collaboration that came out earlier this year, 80 Blocks from Tiffany's, 2, which I strongly suggest you listen to. That is probably one of the strongest collaborations this year, surprise collaborations, because that Pete Rock and Camp Lo is a great combo. I was surprised myself. But that project is solid. And because I know you spit, you're an MC, he released his own instrumentals for the project too, which I'm pretty sure you'll have a good listen while you're on the road, wherever you are in the state of Georgia. Oh. So, yeah.
Yes, I will take that.
Yeah, you're going to take that, right. So, and then also a couple other folks that dropped as of this recording, Homeboy Sandman, new Homeboy Sandman, Don't Feed the Monster with Mellow Music Group. Underground MC out of Queens. He's based in LA now. He's doing his own thing. I peeped some of this record. I haven't checked out the whole thing. It's kind of in the middle for me right now, to be honest with you. But for those who know, Homeboy Sandman is an ill MC. And then 2 Chainz dropped some collaborations. So help me God. He's got an interesting collab out. 2 Chainz is probably, I argue, one of the most experimental MCs, in which he is one of the folks that I've recognized personally to see that he's taking elements of the old and mesh it to his music. So I've gone on record with you before noting that with his collaboration that he did with De La Soul on his on De La's last project, he stood out on that track into De La, and I'm a De La person. So that says something. Okay. So it's definitely a person who 2 Chainz who's really just gone in this element and wanted to highlight those things in the double SMS segment. So for those who are interested, make sure hold on. Make sure if you want to find those records, if you follow me on my list on Twitter, at Matrix Sounds, or I have my list on Spotify, my playlist. You can hit that up, the Hoodie Tape 2020, as well as Bars, just Bars, B-A-R-Z. Just search Bars on Spotify. You see my list there. Plethora of music on there that just straight bars and straight boom bap hip hop. So want to hit that out. So go ahead, Wellz, before we get into the double NS.
Man,
What's up?
That's a lot of information, man. That's a lot of information. That's almost like NNS, man.
It is. It kind of is like NNS. It is. If it is like, yo, what's NNS, man? What's going on? All right, let me tell them what NNS is. What? Hold on. So
by the time we go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah. So by the time we get to NNS.
No, we're in NNS right now. We're going into NNS right now.
Oh.
You can go ahead and take it and just tell the folks what NNS is about. Go ahead.
Yo, NNS, man, is concept, man. So anytime you got something new that you want to share with us, man, hashtag NNS.
Hashtag
man.
NNS.
T-shirt coming out.
Yes.
New ninja shit. I'll just say it like that. New ninja shit.
New ninja-ish. New ninja-ish. So with the hashtag with the show which you guys are following, hashtag RREXP, we're gonna be doing the hashtag RREXP and hashtag NNS. So they go together. So we don't know what this content is.
I'm coming with the T-shirts too, man. So I already got the concept. It's gonna be pretty dope.
And the beauty of this joint is that we're meshing up. It ties into a lot of stuff we have in the show. We're talking about new things, about new stuff in the culture, music, fashion, biz ventures, just education sections for you guys, because we know our listeners. We got a diverse listener group globally that is, in the element of where they still about their hip hop, but they're grown. Like, they got lives and stuff like that. I'm the type of guy that will be in my office. One day we bump some. Matter of fact, I did this the other day. When was it? Wednesday. I was in a Mobb Deep mood, so I just blasted the Infamous from my office like half of the day, and folks from my office like, oh my God, he's one of those guys. We should be afraid of him. But I'm the same guy that, because I have a crew of people that report to me, that I'll use your report, the proposal, at the same time blasting Shook Ones or Survival of the Fittest or something like that. I'm that guy. Who would do that. I'm that guy that will come in a suit playing MOP. How about some hardcore? That's me. I'm that guy. That's me. So,
you're the type of guy.
I'm that type of guy.
So we can't get away from LL.
No. No. But anyway.
Too many LL references this show. Anyway, yo, here's my NNS. Yo, you got your laptop in front of you?
I do not.
You got your phone in front of you, man?
I got my phone in front of me.
Because here's what I need you to do for me, man. Here's what I need you to do. RZA and Ghostface, they go back. Like,
I feel like this is going to be a say word. I feel like this is going to be. But go ahead. I feel like this is going to be a say word. But go ahead.
Nah. This is the NNS. This ain't say word, but
okay.
But I can see how those two worlds can collide, though. You know
okay.
What I'm saying? Because what I'm about to say might make you say word. You say word. Yeah. So, check it out, man. I was doing some show prep, and I came across this 12 Reasons to Die. 12 Reasons to Die. So I'm going to pull it up real quick. But
are you talking about the 12 Reasons to Die project that Ghost did with Adrian Brown?
Nah, this one, well, I guess it could have been, but I thought for sure it was RZA.
Nah, that's not RZA. That's not RZA.
That's not RZA?
No.
Okay, the write-up that I saw in my Google News, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. The album cover was crazy, and they got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
yeah.
24 joints
with
an instrumental.
With the instrumental,
And the Wikipedia is like 12 Reasons to Die, the Jeff Studio album, Wu Tang Clan member rapper Ghostface Killer.
Yep.
It is a concept album based on a comic book of the same name.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, because I saw the comic book cover. Oh, yeah, by the way. NNS, that's my new, I ain't going to say it now. But I'm on some real NNS stuff. You all, listen, L, you know we always come with the next level stuff.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah.
At Classic.
Yeah.
When I tell you this, it's gonna blow your mind.
Okay, go ahead.
I ain't gonna say it now. But I can't say it now because we got people listening now. We got people telling us, trying to check a brother, so I can't say it now. But in 2 weeks,
out of here, Wellz.
I'm going to let y'all know what it is and where to go
Wellz.
if you're in Atlanta. You're not going to want to miss this event.
All right.
You're not going to want to miss this event. But check it out. Yo, you remember Chris had, like, in 90 or 91, he did, like, a supersonic comic.
Yeah. I remember that.
I don't know how I heard about it. I might have heard about it on, I don't know, Kurt Loder, MTV News.
Okay.
But anyway, he did a supersonic comic, and it was a comic with a little cassette, right? And it was so dope. And you play a little cassette, you get the ambiance of the comic, and it was dope. So it reminds me of that. As I'm looking at it, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they got a comic to go with it, but it says the album was produced and composed, Your Man, by Adrian Young. It was also executive produced and narrated by RZA. The album was released on April 16, 2013 by RZA Soul Temple Records, label and RED distribution. Features guests, appearances from Wu Tang Clan members, Inspector Deck, You God, Master Killer, Cap, along with William Hart and Killer Sam.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, but the album cover that I saw, well, the comic that I saw, the article that I read, well, glossed over, it may be pertaining to the comic. So that's something that I need to investigate. I'm on the road.
So
right
you
now,
talking about? Are you talking about? So you haven't seen the image? You haven't seen the image yet?
No.
Okay, so I'm not gonna spoil it for you. No. I know what image you're talking about. So when you see the image, you be like, "Oh, okay, I got it now." But yeah, that record was that was Adrian Young. That was arguably his breakout joint as a producer. He's done a lot of stuff with RZA before, but this is like where his standout, and RZA was just like letting him do him, and that was their interpretation of, or a soundtrack to doing that project. So that was where the idea came from to do that. Okay, all right, cool. I got an NNS for you. I got one for you.
Okay, go ahead.
No, we'll wrap that up. I'll go into mine.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so check this out, and this could be the same element that says "say word" too. But did you hear about the revamp that Big Tigger is doing right now? Shop Tigger, local here in Atlanta. What he's doing with Rap City? Guess what? He's bringing Rap City back. And
what? Not the basement, but just Rap City.
Well, that's the question. The question is which one? Like, for those who know, right? So which one is it? Rap City or the basement? We don't know yet. So, but I saw that and I said, hey, this is a new joint to where it could embody, and it makes a lot of sense now if you think about it, because you have a lot of folks that are coming in, getting this content visually, because, I mean, that was one of the elements that came through with that. And you have all these outputs. Okay, cool. All right, shout Michael McFadden on the radio. So what I was saying was, yo, this visual element that's folks able to do right now, especially with YouTube and stuff like that, IG and all that, it could bring a whole new feel of what Rap City should be about. Now, you could only imagine with the amount of MCs that you came across doing, just interviews and stuff like that could take advantage of things like that. There's a couple of mine that come to take advantage of the situation. So I want to highlight that and shout out Tig for taking the rendition to do that. Now, I don't know if it's going to be a BET thing, but hey, I hope not, to be honest with you. But I'm hoping that
I hope not either.
Yeah, I hope not either. I think he has the ability to, maybe he retains the rights to what he's doing, and that's a whole nother discussion. But yeah, man, I wanted to highlight up in some double NS because that was a big thing that I saw. So yeah.
Wow.
What do you think about that?
You know what, man? Well, BET and me, man, I'm just,
No, I'm not talking about BET. I'm just talking about Rap City in its element, period. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, Rap City, period. About Rap City, you know, I wouldn't have been able to have seen a lot of different cultures, a lot of different artists.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, although hip hop is an art form, you know what I'm saying, you can get something through lyrics. But I believe that, and I know artists have marketing teams that work for them to
Yep.
portray an image, but the true and authentic artist, you're an artist that's then open to the video. You want to have some say in the video.
Yep.
Or else it's going to come out whack. Like for instance, we were talking about Wu Tang when RZA did, "Oh, we love you, Raheem," and he wasn't feeling that. He had a top hat and all of that.
Yeah.
And, he wasn't feeling that. You know what I'm saying? But
Great documentary, by the way.
I would like to say those cases are few and far between. But by looking at, you know, Rap City, I was able to see, you know, LG up in Boston, or this cat Raheem from Houston, or Mix-a-Lot in Seattle.
Yep.
You know, and of course, you know, Quick and all of them out on the West Coast.
Yep.
I was able to see a lot of cats. And of course, Luther Campbell. God bless Luther Campbell.
Yep.
God bless.
That's a whole nother discussion about Luther Campbell. I mean, I've gone on record and saying, you know, 2 Live is probably one of the most important hip hop groups ever in the genre. But that's too much to talk about right now. That's a whole other discussion. But that's his own element.
Rest Kid Ice.
Huh?
Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Rest Kid Ice.
I know. Fresh Kid Ice. But yo, that brings us to the say word though. I want to pick up a say word because we're still kind of NNS. We're probably gonna mesh these things together. I don't know. But say word. Guess what? Remember, say word. Check this out. Now I'm gonna connect the dots for you. Now, for those who don't know, who've been following us for a while, some of you guys know that we got a lot of relationships up in New York, specifically in the Bronx, right? So we got peoples in the Bronx.
Right.
Wellz got peoples in the Bronx. When we were doing our treatments and stuff for our episodic series that we were working on, we still have the treatments we're going to air out pretty soon. Got another announcement on that coming. But at the time we were taping, we had a lot of stuff going on, a lot of house parties that we went to, and a lot of block parties too. But one of the things that we did peep is of where the location of the Universal Hip Hop Museum was going to be in the Bronx, right? So say word that they are reopening the Universal Hip Hop Museum as of earlier this week. So now it's open back up. Yep, it's back open in the Bronx. So people can come by and get the same information. Of course, getting the legendary stuff of what's happening and stuff. If you haven't visited the museum, I strongly suggest you do because it's very informative, very detailed. And they're still building stuff out because there's a lot more stuff to add to it. But they're adding a lot more elements to the experience. And you know where it is, Wellz? I'll tell you exactly where it is. Remember that time when we went to that spot and we met up with Red Alert in that party, on that basement party?
Yeah.
Right over, I think is over there on the south, near South Bronx area. It's near that part, not far from Sedgwick. So, the new build out is supposed to be done by 2023, I believe, based on their statement. But I wanted to highlight that because that's a great, awesome way, and I hope that thing grows extensively because of how important that thing is, especially for the youth today to understand why this culture and what the traction is for where it started and where it is now. And people back then were laughing to say, "Yo, hip hop is just a facade or whatever." And in the words of Tug of De La Soul, plug one, he said, plug two, he said, "Yo, this joint is creating jobs out here now," and that's exactly what it is. It's creating jobs out here. So yeah, pay attention to the evolution. So I definitely want to highlight that as a say word, man. So
say word.
That's a say word. So yeah, word. So, but yo, we're coming up on the tail end of the show, but definitely want to take some time to get into this mailbag because first of all, shouts. I mentioned on the top of the show that thanks for reaching out and dropping a line to the mailbags. I got some notes on Twitter at Tech Metric Sounds. You can follow Jozey Wellz on Twitter at Jozey Wellz ATL. That saying, "Yo, where y'all been at?" And actually, we got some questions from different parts of the globe. Couple directly, specifically for you, Wellz. Couple for me, keeping it fair. And a lot of other questions that we got. Say it again.
Come on, baby, come on.
All right, okay. But anyway, shouts to those who dropped those lines. And if you guys have any follow-up questions or just want to shout us a line, you can hit us up on Twitter or shoot us a line via email, rawradio1, RAWRADIOONE @gmail.com. We're here right there. I'm in the box, speaking clout, right? So, Pete, first question is from the person Showblaze out of Birmingham in the UK. He says, yo, great to hear you guys back on the mic. When is the Raw radio station coming back? Also, with all that's going on with the election in the States, where do you think that leaves hip-hop for the next generation? Does hip-hop leadership still exist? That's a heavy question. That's a heavy question. You want to take that one, or
I'll nibble at it. I'm gonna give them the opinion. You could probably give them the foundation with regards to the station and stuff and all of that, but or vice versa. But my opinion with regards to elections over here, like I said, I've never quite seen anything like it. I don't think in the next. I
agree with you. I don't think we're gonna see a level like this ever again, in my opinion.
Yeah, we can't do this anymore like this because it leaves us open to scrutiny.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And with regards to hip hop, I think it was a special time where you had a BDP, you had a PP, you had a Q, you had a X-Clan, you had a lot of groups, and then a couple of groups after that. But at the apex of that movement, we were screaming destruction and all in the same gang and all of that. And we were those voices, but it was so much. There were so many different groups out that message didn't overshadow. You heard it, but it didn't overshadow what everybody else was doing because it was so hip hop was so diverse.
Yep.
It fit in and it played a role to where now everything from baseball to sports to you can't watch the award shows anymore because everybody's big up in themselves, and I ain't count that. But you can't even watch without people being political. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes people just want to be entertained. Now you can be political. You know what I'm saying? And you can entertain, but sometimes people just want to listen to. Like me, I just want to listen to rhymes. I just want a network of hip hop where we all know what's up. We're all educated. We all got knowledge of self. Yo, let's just be creative. If we're creative enough to up music, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The worlds will align once again like they did back in the day.
Yeah.
So I'm not so much concerned about being on the precipice of what's going to happen to the state of hip hop. The state of hip hop is fine so long as we have people going out doing the best that they can for what they got, And if your circumstance, because you might have an MC that lives in Montana, you know what I'm saying? He might have to struggle, and you might have an MC down in, Poke and Bean Project down in Florida,
in Miami.
He round about chilling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's all relative.
You know what? So, I agree with what you're saying in that contest. I mean, with the election going on, I mean, the level of engagement to me is notable because we haven't seen that. But I argue this because of how I still believe that the hip hop cycle is still going in its thing, and there's a situation where there's elements of awareness that's coming involved, but where these creatives are realizing that they're empowered for these folks to come in and influence others, right? I mean, look at look of when Obama got elected. You cannot argue that hip hop did not have influence in that election. There's no way in hell you can't say that. So what I'm saying is to add to that, the point of leadership, the one thing to recognize is that there's different levels and types of leadership too, right? There might be some situations to where some folks is just like you said, being creative and just speaking their mind or whatever. not even realizing that they're influencing all these other folks that are being creative, but also maybe become the voice of a crew or voice of a people, right? Or a voice of a BLM or a voice, you know what I'm saying? It could represent something,
Right.
and that's part of the artistry with it. So to your point, which I totally agree that hip hop is in a good state right now, but I'm on the premise, and I've gone this on record as saying that it's still on the listener, which yields to the experience now more so than ever, is that they're getting exposed to the different types of hip hop that exist, right? That's one of the reasons why, why I do double SMS mix show, right? I have my lane, but that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna, do boom bap all day long. I'm a diverse person. I DJ. I have a multi-palette music. One day I'm trap, the next day I'm chilling R&B. I might be doing my catalog. If I pull up my DSP catalog, is crazy. I got different playlists, crazy. But my point is that from a portion of leadership, right? We got to understand and also note that these the younger folks that are doing just doing what they're doing, not even realizing that they're leaders to a younger generation that's feeding in what's happening now. I mean, look what happened last week here locally with the young man King Von out of Chicago, and I forgot the other person who passed in Dallas. Mo, I don't know if you heard about that, but that's just an example. With King Von, lyrically, he in essence he's a lot of his stuff is conscious rap, but is housed within a trap setting. So, from a position of eldership, we have to recognize and empower these young folks and say, look, I see how you're leading. Here's the tools to take it to the next level when you're ready to go. You understand what I'm saying? Like there's some type of ownership, and I think that's part of the reason where I've always argued that there was a missed opportunity in the early 2000s where that lack of leadership was taking place, because it was more so at that time when the music was coming out, it was like, the music's just coming out, but there was no element of leadership or ownership at that time, and if it was not as significant as it is right now. You feel me? So that's my thing. And as far as the station is concerned, for what he's asking Showblaze, the station is going to come back soon. We're going to be housing a whole bunch of content here. So content that you're listening to right now, such as this show and other shows, are going to be housed on the stream. It's going to be accessible probably at the top of the year. And it's going to be in different ways how we're going to be doing the programming. So stay tuned. It's going to be on this other elements, just how you guys accessing the content now. The content now, I should say, is going to be dope. Just stay tuned. Good stuff. All right, second question. Pedro Rodriguez out of Brazil, right? He says, trying to find some outlets to find an underground sound. Mr. Ready C show on the stream. Shot Ready C. What other shows do you guys listen to? Oh, man. And also, what's the best release of the year in hip-hop for 2020? I can answer that off real quick. Some joints that underground sound real quick. Got to shout Southern Vanguard locally here in Atlanta. Absolutely. You want underground, I think, especially with Ready C, what he did, I think Southern Vanguard is them taking the torch and giving a little bit more twang to it. But Southern Vanguard is one. We Funk out in Montreal. Who else? Da Harvey Mix Show out in L.A. Those are some shows that I peep into. Fusebox Radio with Fusion. She mixes up a good hodgepodge of new hip hop and classics with it too. Those come to mind. And album of the year so far, or best releases of the year so far for 2020, it's a lot, man. It's a lot of releases. I got to sit back and think about it, but those come to mind. I got to give Benny the Butcher, the new one releases, is probably one of the strongest released to date. Staying in the Griselda family, that Conway is strong. His new release. I think the ELE 2020, the ELE release is going to be in there. And I know I'm missing some others. The T.I. Libra is dope. There's a lot of content that dropped this year. Like, I got to sit back and answer that question. But those are the things that come into my mind.
For me, real quick, hip-hop album of the year, I'm going to stay fresh and local.
Shout fresh and local. Yo, shout Key Turner. Okay. Yo, Key Turner, shout Key Turner, dope MC.
I peeped some of the stuff that she was doing, man, and where she's taking her music at is really incredible. And she's always a dope lyricist. So big up Key Turner out there, OYL.
Shout OYL.
And then Senior Cows, he just came back from Portland. Cal
Oh,
this joint.
yeah.
Yeah,
He's dropping a joint
that's
with he actually I think
on it.
yeah. She speaking of cows, shout cows, he's dropping a new joint with Illustrate and Drugs here locally in Atlanta. So for those here locally, they know those names, Illustrate and producer Drugs, who's producing a lot of tracks with a lot of MCs in hip hop. Period. Cal's got with him. They've been collaborating for a while, so it's gonna be a very interesting collab to see how that works for sure. All right, cool.
And as far as underground hip hop, go to your YouTube channel, put in DJ Double K The Realness. You got to put in 2 Ks, Double KK The Realness.
Has he done any new stuff? Every time I go to his YouTube, I'm like, the old stuff still knocks. I'm not knocking it, but I'll be like, yo, you haven't done a record? Like I'm talking a mix in like ages. You know, that was my issue with him sending the stuff for the stream. Like, yo, he hasn't said anything yet. What's up?
I travel. I be traveling on the road. I just find you gotta scroll. There's a fake double K on there too.
Oh, word? A fake? A shark by the double K? A shark by the double K?
Yeah,
ooh,
man. Another double K on there, but
man, that's
double K The Realness. But for the people that's looking for the underground, we know his catalog. It's gonna take them about 6 months to get through his catalog.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then
shout
go ahead
double
and double it because you're gonna listen to it again. So it's gonna take you a year to get through his catalog. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, hey, Double K got some nicks. He goes in and he switches it up too. I mean, he got this couple mixes that he did with a straight 80s mix, like influenced out like P-Funk stuff. That joint is dope. Like he's got stuff in there. So shout Double K. All right, bet. So let's go into question number 3, the third question, and this is where I have to speak about this. So he says, "Yo, this dude out of Queens, New York, BK Knox. I see you, BK Knox. Yo, peace, L. Great to hear from you. Bringing back the double R. But what's up with your man Wellz? I follow both of y'all on Twitter, and I'm peeping the dialect he's giving in his feed. I haven't seen him say it, but is he a Trump supporter? That ain't hip hop. Hold on. That ain't hip hop. Haven't y'all seen what that fish got Cube and Wayne? Question mark. Also, peep the last episode and y'all reminiscing and stuff. Didn't know that y'all guys worked the A3C and the BK Hip Hop Festival. But that ain't happening now because of COVID, and that shit is whack anyway. It's not real hip hop. Just saying. Y'all are dope, but that talk may not be the move. Look forward to the mix show in 2021. Now that's a lot to chew right there.
I'll address it.
I got some like Joel Ortiz. I got some weight. I got some bars to push off my chest on this one.
I'm first and foremost, man. I'm God body. I got knowledge, days, mathematics, knowledge, understanding, all being born to culture. So then you bring forth a culture or freedom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, freedom simply means to free your dome. When you can free your dome, you know what I'm saying? You have the autonomy to consume a lot of ideas. Now, some of those ideas, you know what I'm saying, you may not be down with. Ideas you may be down with.
Yep.
So, with regard, I'm glad he mentioned Cube and Wayne, because Cube and Wayne, the story one time of how, you know, a white officer helped him. You know what I'm saying? Where everybody else, you know, Cube, he's been in for the last 20 some odd years. He know how that thing works. You need different people to help you along the way.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm over the black and white, green, yellow, purple thing. You know what I'm saying? Dr. King said, you judge a man by the content of his character, not of his skin.
Yep.
Now, with regard to the president says some whack things, you know, but everything that come out of his mouth ain't whack. Yo, my brother.
Wait, you break it up. Say it again. We lost you. You're back on. Say it again. You dropped out.
Yeah, I said I have a brother in prison, and that prison reform thing, that's not a fairy tale thing.
Mm-hmm.
Man worked with Cory Booker, who's a Democrat. He worked with Rand Paul, who's Republican. And they work with Jared Kushner. You know what I'm saying? He's in the White House. And they work together. He signed that. You know what I'm saying? He got that done. So I ain't mad at that. My brother can walk out of prison for something that he didn't do after. My brother been in prison for 1997. So I ain't got time to be talking about Orange Man bad. I ain't got time for that. You know what I'm saying? So all I know is what I know.
Okay.
I don't vote for no man. I look at the policies. If the policies
I'm with you on
apply
that.
and work for me, then so be it. So, dun.
Okay.
That's hip hop.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, you got anything else before I put my 2 cents in or my dollars in?
What was the other thing?
A3C and Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival. He said didn't know we did those joints, but it don't happen. It's not happening right now because of COVID and their whack.
Well, the thing is with A3C, we called it. You know, once a lot of the corporate sponsors came running, we knew the writing on the wall. That was the last. I think the last real one we did. We was with Sean Prime.
Yep.
And
2013.
Yeah. Because you have all these different entities
7 years ago. Oh my God.
Now before that, my man, it was pretty dope, and we was there. We did actually. First one we did was the one in East Atlanta Village. So we probably went 5 years straight, 6 years straight.
5 years.
You know what I'm saying?
5 years. 5 years.
5 years straight, cutting them joints. And the first 4 out of this world. So, but I feel you. But you know, I won't publicly diss Andy and them because they did a great service. You know, bringing that culture to the city, man. And I'll forever be in their debt. Without them, you know, we would have never met the Alcoholics or Chain or
That's true.
We met.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So
Rakim for the record. Ninth Wonder. Yep.
You know,
that people.
You got a database. You got a database of artists, managers, producers.
Yeah.
You have a database.
Yep.
Because you were the media guy for them.
Yeah, I was liaising as the media director.
And so. You know, I got nothing but love for them, but sometimes you can, you know, sometimes you can't help.
It's growth, man. It's growth. That's all I account it to. It's elements of growth. Let me. So Pete. So first, to echo to what you're saying, right? The thing with A3C and Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival, that's exactly the case, right? We did what we did, and we're not knocking that at all. Just to be clear, all right.
Nope.
We knew that there was going to be an element of transition when we did that last one. We say, yo, this thing is growing to a point to where we know that just if you guys understand media, the back end is going to be a little bit different. At the same time, understanding that with these corporate sponsors are involved, this is what is dictating how the business is ran. So if they're in a position of creating this element to curate revenue, and keep in mind, Brian Knott will tell you that, hey, this is something I just had an idea because I was a manager and I wanted to get my artists to perform at a certain place, and it turned into its own thing, right? He never foresaw that. He's on record as saying that. But the point is it grew into something, and there was an opportunity from a business standpoint to curate revenue, full stop. And if you understand those festivals, those are the sacrificials that are thing. And those are part of the growing pains of growth. And to respond to that and say that's not real hip hop, I completely disagree. You can't say that because it's a contribution of what they did for a lot of our artists that you probably know and love right now is because of those two brands. And on top of that, of the curation of what they've been doing behind the scenes to create content, such as those mixtapes, such as those sessions that will go one-on-one. There's a lot of stuff that they do, especially locally in Atlanta. So you can't knock that out and just say that's not hip hop. Plus, this period. Yeah. I will stand against that and not go to that part. And go ahead. See what were you gonna say?
Yeah. You said a word that I had in my mind. Ironically, curate. Like,
curate. Yeah.
Because I remember having them conversations with y'all when we was at the station. I'd be like, yo, when we get there, I'm like, Ducky told us. He said, "Yo, this y'all's." He's like, "Yeah." He said, "Yo, keep it y'all's." He
Yep,
said, "Don't
keep
ever
it
sell
y'all's.
out."
That's exactly what he said.
You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what he said.
But with Andy and that's hard to do. Because I remember when it wasn't no BET, when B03, B103, and all them stations in Atlanta, I remember when it was on the strength of them.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
them cutting the check, $700,000 here for this stage.
Yep.
$1 million for that.
You can,
stage.
I can't knock that. I cannot knock that at all. I can't. From a business standpoint, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I can't knock that. No way.
But here's the thing. Though. The person that, now what I probably would have done differently, when I went to curate or have the type of artist that I want to still represent that, it's going to look different.
Yeah, that's an element that I do agree with. And to compare to that, an example of that is the One Music Fest that's here in Atlanta, because they took, I argue, the elements of the blueprint of what A3C did and expanded that, because if you look at every time they do their festival, they mix it up as its own one-day festival with different types of artists that will feed different demographics, right? And in essence, A3C was doing the same thing, and then it stopped at a point. And I think it's because of the corporate sponsorship as well as the demand. So that's business. So if they decide to pivot, they're already making these decisions and saying, look, I'm going to go ahead and switch out and do this way. So, this is where the rubber meets the road for us, and this is what we're going to do. I'm not knocking it. That's their business. It's not my business. It's theirs. So
see, the thing is, too, and so when you bring in a different element, a different crowd, hip-hop cats, they'll stick it out what you're going through.
Yeah.
But that other faction of people, they want that instant gratification.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then they ghost.
Mm-hmm.
But,
I mean, that's the personas that's arguably the personas of today's generation that's ingesting the content. But that's no fault to them. I argue that's a fault to their predecessors. But that's another conversation. That's another conversation.
True. But yeah. But my man from Queens, I'm good. I just.
I got to be Queens, man. Coming out. So hold on, I didn't. Let me hit that other part of that question. He was talking about the joint. Something I want to say about going off of being a Trump supporter with all that. So listen, if you are bothered, even if whatever allegiance you support, and I want to make sure I go on record on this. All right, it doesn't matter what you support or whatever, as long as there's a meeting of the eyes for a common cause. And here's what I mean by that. He asked or mentioned about you being a Trump supporter or whatever. I mean, I don't know however you voted. I personally don't care, because that was you, like you said, you voted based on what makes sense for you, and I voted what sense for me, right? So in essence, I look at it, just if you want to take it from a political tip, just an example, I look at it as a simple business transaction. All right, look, I got a proposal from Trump and I got a proposal from Biden. Which proposal is better than me? And to add to that, the amount of folks that I've asked and say, yo, have you even read what they're proposing? Usually I get crickets. But I'm that guy who's going to read a proposal, because for those who don't know, I work in the entertainment industry on a day-to-day basis, and I could read through contracts with no problem. So I could go through a proposal with no problem either. So I'm that guy who will dissect the contract in minutes and ask questions. So I made my decision based off that. And I'm adding that to say you shouldn't be sensationalized by that ideology or approach because I didn't think or speak a certain way. Case in point, if you want to keep it 100, keep it a stack, right? We've been on record to say, look, you just said you what your spiritual affiliation is, right? I'm a Christian. We're not in the same boat, but we known each other for almost 10 years, right?
Right.
So you can't tell me that argument is going to have weight. So get the fuck out of here with that. Get the fuck out of here. I appreciate you supporting and you speaking your clout, but bro, you got to come better than that. I'm just saying. That's just me. But yeah.
The thing is, or be how you want to be, man. Like, I don't front on nobody. Like, but when you get in that group think,
you can't get in the group think, man. You can't think in the group think. And you know what? I don't want to even get heavy political on it, because that's a whole nother hour, and I'm pretty sure we're running out of time at this point, because that's a whole nother discussion. Yeah. All right, last question. Last question from Gina Golden Lewis in Hong Kong. Shout to Hong Kong. Yo, she says,
Oh, come on,
appreciate y'all brothers getting back on. Currently serving in Seoul, South Korea. So how you saying in Hong Kong? I got questions. But so she says currently serving. So she's currently serving in Seoul, South Korea. And shout out to those in the Armed Forces Network that have picked up the pod on the podcast as well, to the distribution network. Shouts to you guys. Thank you for your service.
We used to call it 8 parts.
Yeah.
8 parts.
So right now, she says currently serving in a heated debate that goes on with her boyfriend here in the barracks. Another question. That's in control of the mic. She says we both MC in parentheses, right? He is pro Gangstar, and I'm pro Mobb Deep. Who commands the room versus style with the legend twist more, Gangstar or Mobb Deep? Now, and she says also, is Legends Lounge the series coming back? Best G. All right, let me dive in real to this before you go. All right, so first of all, I got a couple questions. One, if my whiz was about Mobb Deep all day, I would have a little bit of a concern, because we all know what Mobb Deep is about. I mean, think about this for a second.
Right.
I mean, you know, if my whiz is blasting shook ones in the house all day, you know, that's a whole different level of mindset. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's going on? But beside that, Joe, you, first of all, how did you guys get into the barracks together? That's one question I got, because I thought you guys supposed to be separate. I mean, you got to school me because you're the vet on the air. Two,
I know, right?
That comparison with Gangstar and Mobb Deep, that's difficult, because you're talking about two, again, going back to the fruit bowl analogy that we talked about earlier in the show. Legends Lounge, the series, is going to be coming back, and like I addressed earlier as far as the question with the programming, we're going to be doing segments of that soon. We might do a short form pod of a who, what, when, Raw Radio EXP style. So if you guys are familiar with that format, we play the record, give a background about the record, and where they're at today. So more of a historical piece. But for my choice in this situation, I thought about it, and I got to go Gangstar. And the reason why I'm going Gangstar is I'm comparing bodies of work, longevity, as well as content and influence. Now, we can argue easily that Mobb Deep body of work can compete with Gangstar. However, because of the influence that Gangstar had, I argue is a little bit more than Mobb Deep. So if there was actual verses, you know, IG was the verses now, it would be close. But for me, I would go Gangstar just because of Recipes Guru, what he stood for, what his story is, and not knocking P's story either. Let's get that twisted. Don't get it twisted. Let's get that clear. And honestly, Premier alone is just too much of a weight to stand. But for me, it's Gangstar. What about you?
All right. I can't, first of all, I got to.
Wait, say it again. You're breaking up. Wherever you're driving, hold on. Wherever you're driving, your signal's going in and out. So make it quick, because we got to wrap.
I'm like an hour out of the city, so.
Okay. Magic City? Okay. You there? Oh, we lost him. We don't know what happened to him. Hey, we lost you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
say it again. Say what you're saying again. You went in and out. Say it one more time real quick so we can wrap.
I'm bad. Yeah, we're going to tell the story about when Boo bit Premier Knuckle. And Premier showed Cheaper the Star.
Yep. Shout Cheaper. That's true. That's a true story.
But Guru was a Boston dude, right? And
Yep.
He moved to Brooklyn.
Yep.
You know, and actually Premier is from Texas.
He's from Houston.
From
Houston, yeah. It's from Houston.
So that's a beautiful story. But I got to go with the mob. For one, my girl is from Queens. Although she's from Fred, she's from Southside Jamaica. And so I got to go with Queens. But the thing is, when I'm listening to Mob now, I have a new appreciation for Havoc.
Ooh, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. You're not the only one, because I was just saying that the other day. Was like, yo, Havoc was spitting since the Infamous and nobody peeped. And the only time everybody paid attention to how Havoc grew lyrically is right and when Mobb Deep dropped Infamy and before he went on his solo joint with Alchemist. That's my theory.
Yeah.
But you're right about that.
And
Absolutely.
Like, you go back and listen to Burn. Hav is killing that.
Yeah, he was. He was.
So,
he was.
And then I peeped not Russian Roulette. What's it called? All that deal with the DJ beats records. They go make beats.
Rhythm Roulette. Rhythm Roulette.
Yeah, Rhythm Roulette. Go watch Havoc episodes.
Yeah.
Watch Havoc episodes, y'all. Yo, Havoc is ill. I got a new love and appreciation.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And even and both legendary groups. And this is the beauty of the culture in hip hop, because we're seeing different appreciations based on perspective, right? So, that's where it makes this thing so great. So I'll take your point. I mean, I get it. It was a hard one for me. I'm just slightly leading Gangstar for me. But you just going Mobb Deep, which is all good.
Yeah, I gotta go with Queens, man.
All right, cool. But yo, guess what? That's the tail end of the show. That's it, man. We're gonna wrap. So before we head out, make sure you drop us a line if you guys want to add Speaker Cloud in the mailbag. Raw Radio 1 RAWRADIOONE 1 ONE Raw Radio 1 @gmail.com, or you can just hit us up on Twitter @TechDictionSounds. Yours truly, Jozey Wellz ATL, with his Twitter. And you just shoot us a line, or you can just drop us a line on the Facebook page. I'm Classic Hip Hop. Search I'm Classic Hip Hop Raw Radio, and you see us there. And make sure you check out previous episodes. Starting next week, the previous Raw Radio EXP podcast will be back up. So those folks who are asking about it, they're going to be popping up. So make sure you can find us right now. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Pandora, TuneIn, Alexa. You can do all that. You can tell Alexa, say, yo, play the Raw Radio Express EXP podcast. We'll pop up in your ear. So with all that being said, yours truly, Lucky Luciano. And then after this, we are going to go below and do another versus impromptu that talks about the battle we talked about earlier. So you missed that part of the show, make sure you scribble back and go back to the part where we're talking about the battle between Wu Tang and Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5. So with that, any last stuff before we wrap?
Yo, no doubt. Yo, they can also catch me at Khalil Thomas 7 on the Instagram, man. Check me out, Khalil Thomas 7 on the Instagram.
Yeah, my IG is the same at 10 Major Sound. Let's go. All right, bet. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Salute.